Hello and welcome back to the Barrow. I am the Barrow White, and tonight we are doing episode 5 of my career mode. And tonight we will be rendezvousing two ships and moving crew from one to another. So at the end of the last episode, I left somebody in orbit. Valentina's up there, and I brought Jebediah back to the planet and built another vessel to get him into space, but it also has room for her to get into. So the difference between the ships are, and I've added a little bit since the end of that last episode, but I added the second command pod, went ahead and remembered to put in a decoupler and a heat shield, added a Kerbal engineering system module on there so I can get some data when I'm flying, added more tanks to these external tanks so that there's a little bit extra thrust. And that's what I've done. So really, with that said, it's ready, and we can go ahead and launch and get into space. All right. Jeb looks like he's ready. So put the throttle to full, put him in control, let's launch. Get over 100, lean it over to about 60, 70, 60 degrees. Just let that go for a little bit. Once I get over about 10,000 meters over the surface, I will go ahead and lean it over to about 45 degrees. Start pushing into a circular orbit. Now, one thing I did do that didn't show on screen here is that I was looking where Valentina was, and she was just about ready to come into the right position. So when I do get into orbit, she'll be behind me a little bit, but we won't be too far apart. She was at 80 something kilometers, so I'm going to stop my apoapsis at 80 kilometers and wait till I get up there and then push into a somewhat circular orbit. We're already well out of the atmosphere, so we're super high in the atmosphere, so there's not going to be any atmospheric effects to matter. So now I'm just going to wait until I get into the right spot to hit the throttle to push into orbit. I think we can go ahead and warp the time. Just like before, at about 45 seconds, I'll hit the throttle and try to maneuver it into a somewhat circular orbit. These tanks will run out of fuel quite quickly. These external tanks, these fluid tanks. Push those off. Now I have a much lighter vehicle. It requires a lot less thrust. Get the same movement. Check the map. See that, yep, she's just not too far behind us at all, and our orbit is starting to open up. Soon it'll be pushing out beyond the planet and actually give us the possibility of orbit. And when this goes above 70, it will put us in orbit. Wow, that was not a very circular orbit, though. Look at that, a very lopsided orbit. So I think the thing to do would be to turn backwards and pull that in just a little bit. Let's see if that works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to point retrograde and slow myself down. And because I'm here, it'll pull this in. So, but we are pretty good. But I do have to watch this number, make sure it doesn't get too low. We should be able to pull that number in. Here we go, let's do it. Nope, that one dropped too fast. All right, well, we'll just work with this. So if Valentina is my target, so I will use these nodes to try to get us to find a point where we can meet. So if we add a maneuver, the first thing I like to do would be to pull that that ascending and descending node to positive or negative. I mean to 0. So just that little bit of thrust will put us on the same plane, which is great. And now I want to see about either speeding up or slowing down. So I'm thinking that if I pull my orbit to the left a little bit using this thing here, that might pull us closer together. It will. It did not. Okay, I thought it was, but it did not. There we go. So you see there's a point where they come closer together, but then they get further apart again. So let's see where they're kind of closest. And then maybe speed up and do the same thing, and speed up and do the same thing. All right. That didn't work very well at all, did it? So actually slow down a little bit. I feel like we're pretty close there, but we're not at all. We're still 200 kilometers apart. There, they're pretty close, but does that put me flying into the planet? It does. Okay. Yeah, so I really don't understand this as well as I should. So let's go ahead and delete this one and just try it again. Right now I am in orbit, but not a very high orbit. And I've got to do this right, or well, if I don't do it right, then I'm going to have problems. Then I would end up descending into the atmosphere, which is not what I want to do. So here, I would like to slow down a little bit. And maybe pull the orbits closer on the same plane. That's actually doing the opposite of what I was trying to do. I wanted to pull them to the same plane, which means the difference between their nodes would be at 0. And then all right, it's obvious I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. Well, now they just got close. Okay, there we go. Still 12 kilometers apart. Almost had it. Dang it. All right, so if that would leave my apoapsis at 158, my periapsis at 72. So this is a doable thing. It will leave us at 3 kilometers apart. So now if I use that, and I go right to the this marker right here that it tells me to go to point at, this reticle, or this is a target reticle, I believe it's called, or a maneuver reticle. I'm not sure what it's called. So now I'll go to my maneuver node, and when I go all the way around to that maneuver node and do a burn for 1 second, actually let's change this to all the way down to like less than 20% of thrust. It's not going to let me because I am warping. There we go. 20% is fine. We'll continue to warp over to the node. We're almost there. All right, we're there. All right, it's at 1.7. So that maneuver was actually pretty good. So now we will wait until we come around the orbit, and with Valentina swinging in close to the planet and me swinging out further, even though I'm ahead of her now, by the time we come around to that point, this point here, she will have caught up to me. You can see she's getting close to catching up to me already. She might catch up to me here. Yeah, we can actually, we'll be close enough here that we'll be fine. So now let's go to visual. Maybe. There, she's at 9.2 kilometers. And let's not go too fast, but we should actually go within just a few kilometers of each other. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to retrograde in relation to the target, and I'm going to slow down. Let's go ahead and set this thruster at about 25%. Let's see if we can slow us down to 0. Oop, that went the wrong way. No worries. Well, are you gonna turn or not? Oh, that's because I got going too fast. All right, so now we're gonna shut this down to really low, and we will see if we can slow down to about 0. And this is in relation to our target. And plenty of fuel. All right, now Valentina and I are just floating along side by side. So I'm going to actually aim at, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to aim at Valentina. All right, and I'm just going to fire my way over there slowly. All right, now I'm going closer to her. I'll speed up to maybe 30 or 40 meters per second, so I'm not going too fast, and so I can slow down quickly enough. I'll go ahead and go retrograde, and when I'm ready, I'll slow down. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to thrust in a minute to slow down. And when I do, I want the back end of my ship to be pointed straight at her. Right now it's pointed over this way. And if I thrust this way, it'll pull my back end to aim closer to her. So here we go. Alright, it didn't quite get as far as I was hoping. So let's just go retrograde to the target and slow us down all the way to 0 again. Rather than aiming straight at her, it just aims at whatever direction we're both going and will slow us down so that our relative speed to each other is 0. All right, good. So we're actually in a pretty good position. I wish I had lights on this so it'd be easier for her to see us. So let's go over to her. And there she is, sitting in her big rocket in space. Valentina, you ready? First off, can you see us? There he is, 700 meters away. Let's do an EVA. Let's let go. Turn on my backpack. And let's start going. It's only 700 meters away. We'll take our time about it. We're floating gently in space. "600 meters. It's quiet in space. She seems pretty happy. She's not scared. I would be terrified. I'm just taking my time here. I tend to lose my bearings fairly quickly. So if I would suddenly zoom past her, it would confuse me and I would have a hard time adjusting. And then it'd take me a minute to find my bearings again. So instead I'm taking my time. I can see her clearly now among the stars. I guess that's Jeb over there that I can see. Little dark here, and sorry for being so quiet, but I really have to concentrate. And I see some people can really do this without getting confused or really having to think much about it. But for me, I gotta take my time. Where is the door? I'm thinking the lower one is where she can get in, but I might find that he's already in there. Shoot. Where's that door? F. Board. We're in. Very good. That was nerve-wracking. Now let's see if that counted. It did. I was a little worried that because I already had her in space, it might say, no, you had to launch somebody in space and then make them go into another vessel to count. But it counted, so good deal. They seem pretty calm. Valentina's obviously thrilled to be alive. Let's see if I can get any science at all for doing a crew report. Nope. I think I've done it all. I think I've done an EVA up here already. I don't need one right now. So let's look at the map and see what we want to do to get back to the planet. We're already at our periapsis. I would say let's see if we can land close to the space station. Well, hell, we're already close to the space station. Kerbal Space Center is right here. So let's go ahead and face retrograde. And fire our engines to bring that periapsis down into the planet. I don't feel like I'm facing retrograde. Now I'm facing retrograde. To the target still, that's why. There we go. Fortunately, I've got plenty of fuel to make mistakes like that. Now, here we go. We're watching this line sink into the planet. When I see it land about halfway in the ocean here, that's when we'll say we'll land close to the Kerbal Space Center. That looks great. Go back to the map. Get rid of the motor. We don't need it anymore. Continue to face retrograde. And let's use warp to drop down into the atmosphere. Cool. We've hit the atmosphere. Now let's use warp until we drop down into the atmosphere enough that it heats up. Let's just see how we're doing on the map. Oh yeah, look at that. We're going to land right out past the space station. Perfect. And that vessel will continue to orbit. We might be able to use it again someday because it has plenty of fuel in it. All right, there we go. We're heating up now. We'll just leave it at this 2 times warp. We shouldn't have any major problems with physics or anything that'll cause us to have a glitch or something go wrong. We're already dropping down to pretty good speeds, slow speeds. Good. All right, we have safely made it through the atmosphere. Now we just got to safely make it to the planet. When this gets below 10,000, I'll go ahead and pop the first parachutes, the drogue chutes. Slow us down. Everything. We're looking good. And now we can safely warp to the planet surface. Look at that. You can stop controlling the vehicle now, Jeb. Just let us fall down with gravity. That doesn't seem right. We are not falling 175 meters per second, but we're falling at 4 meters per second. That makes sense. So we'll just warp until we get closer to the ocean surface because we're falling very slow. These drogue sheets really slowed it down. But that's what I wanted without actually calculating anything. I didn't see how heavy that extra command module would make it. I didn't know if the original parachute would be enough or not. But these 2 extra parachutes are absolutely enough. Too much. The gentlest landing ever. Alright, we've landed. We're safe. Neither compartment is flooding. We will recover these vessels. Nice. Very happy. So it didn't get much science. But what we did gain out of this is Valentina got her star. She advanced to level 1. Awesome. And we now have the Explore the Moon mission, which says go to the moon and stay there in a nice orbit. Do a spacewalk. Try to keep your helmet free of bodily fluids. That makes sense. We will try. And then return. Awesome. We can do that. And I think we will go ahead and call it quits for this episode. But in the next episode, we will do just that. We will have Jebediah go and do a orbit of the moon. All right. Well, thanks a lot for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed that. And we'll see you on the next episode. Have a great one.